All right, you guys. So tonight we have a pretty delicious dinner set up. We are going to be searing salmon. We're also going to be making a risotto with onions, garlic, spinach, chopped mushrooms. We're going to finish it with some Parmesan and some cream. We're going to cook it in chicken stock. And then we're going to also have some roasted asparagus. So for your risotto, go ahead and start your pot on about a medium heat. Also, we're going to be roasting the asparagus. So we're going to put our oven on about 400 degrees. And then the salmon will be finished off in the oven as well. So we want to go ahead and get everything heating up. Once our pot gets nice and hot, let's go ahead and add in a couple tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. This is about a quarter cup of onion or a half of a medium onion. We're just going to let that start marrying up, getting a little hot and bubbly, and getting tender. Alright, after our onions and olive oil have been cooking for about a minute, we're going to go ahead and add our arborio rice. As you can see, this is a short grain rice. It is very starchy, so with risotto rice, you want to get it going with the olive oil and the onions. Just going to stir this around just a little bit until the rice starts to look shiny and glassy, and then we're going to add in our chicken stock. Alright, now that our rice looks shiny and glassy and pretty, we're going to go ahead and add in our chicken stock. You can use water, but this is chicken stock that I had from roasting some chicken breast the other day, and it's a great use of flavor and adding flavor to your food, your rice, your beans. You know, I've even used it in grits before. We're going to give this a little stir. So with arborio rice, I was talking about how it's a short grain rice, it's very starchy, and with risotto, it's a very rich and creamy dish. So keys with that, it is a 4-to-1 ratio liquid to rice because it absorbs a lot of liquid. Also, you don't want to take too many breaks from stirring it, and I'm using a whisk. That way it'll break it up as much as possible. You can use a paddle, you can use a spoon, that's fine. But I have noticed that when I use a whisk, more of the starches come out and it gets creamier. So that rice is going to absorb all of this liquid eventually, and it's going to be really creamy and delicious. Also, with the addition of our Parmesan and our heavy cream, it'll help that out. So as you can see, some of the starches are already starting to release into the liquid, and the rice is starting to absorb the chicken stock, and you can see how it's kind of gotten a little cloudier. This is the rice that you want to stir a lot to release those starches, because the more starch, the creamier it is. Alright, so after the rice has been cooking for about 5 minutes, and you're going to continue to stir it for about the next 15 minutes until it's completely tender, creamy, and done, we're going to go ahead and get our salmon fillet started. I really want to bring out the natural flavors of the salmon and everything, so I'm not going to season it too heavily. So I have a cast iron skillet. It's on 6, so just a little bit over medium heat. We're going to go ahead and just drop some oil, a couple tablespoons. I am not shy with the olive oil. We're going to wait until this gets glisteny, if that's even a word, you guys, and spreads really well. Maybe even start to see it smoke just a little bit. All right, so my olive oil is popping a little bit. It's starting to smoke a little bit. I turned the pan down because cast iron is really good about retaining heat. Now, if you are going to cook salmon with the skin on, you need to do skin side down to get that skin nice and crispy. If not, do it presentation side down, which would be this top part right here. That's the presentation side. So we're going to go ahead and just, that's the sound that you want to hear. All right, now we're just going with some kosher salt. You can also use some sea salt. That would be delicious. And some pepper. I like coarse ground pepper. Alright, we're going to let this cook about 5 or 6 minutes, skin side down, and then we're going to pop it in the oven to finish cooking the rest of the way through. I wanted to point out with the arborio rice, it's about halfway done right now, and you can see how much bigger the rice has gotten. It's already absorbed a lot of liquid, and it's going to continue to. Alright, now I have some awesome asparagus right here. It's one of my favorite vegetables. It's a beautiful spring vegetable, and I think it's very underrated. You don't have to do much to it for it to be beautiful. We are actually just going to roast this with, you know, some olive oil, some salt and pepper. If you wanted to brighten it up, you could definitely dress it with some lemon juice at the very end. We are going to just simply take our knife and cut these woody ends off and discard them. There's really nothing that you can do with them. And then we're going to put these on a sheet pan, drizzle with olive oil, salt, and pepper, and pop them into the oven. And then by that time, our salmon skin should be nice and crispy, and that'll go into the oven to finish cooking as well. Alright, you guys, so our asparagus is cut and ready to go. I'm just going to drizzle with some olive oil. See, it's not very hard, right? It does not take a lot of effort to make delicious, beautiful food that's healthy, that's affordable. This is all great stuff. I'm just doing some kosher salt, some coarse ground pepper. All right, we're going to go ahead and pop these into the oven. We're going to put this on the top rack. Alright, you guys, now let's check on our salmon. It sounds like it's good. Check out that. It's crispy, nice, delicious, beautiful. You can eat the salmon skin, it's totally fine. It's actually, like, other than the belly, which is really fatty, I love the salmon skin because it gets super crispy and it's just delicious. We're going to go ahead and pop this into the oven as well, along with our asparagus. And those will be ready in about 10 to 12 minutes. Now, for our arborio rice, this is still going. You can see how big the rice has gotten, how creamy this has gotten. And it smells delicious, you guys. Alright, you guys, so here's a little tip. If you taste your arborio rice, you know, like you normally would test out your regular white rice or brown rice or pasta noodles to make sure they're done, and they're still not quite all the way cooked. These are about 80% of the way cooked, but you can see how thick they are. There's not a whole lot of liquid for these guys to absorb. Just add some more liquid. I don't have any more chicken stock, but water's going to be fine. The chicken stock and the cream and the Parmesan and the mushrooms and everything with the spinach we're going to put in there too. It's all going to give it tons of flavor, so you're not taking away from it. Alright guys, I just checked on the risotto, like the tenderness of it. The rice has gotten even bigger since I put more liquid into it, and that's exactly what we wanted it to do. We wanted it to absorb more liquid. I tasted it, it's like 90% of the way done. And by the time all the ingredients are in it, it's going to be fully cooked and beautiful. So, what we're going to do, I have 3 garlic cloves and the brine I buy my garlic already peeled. You can buy it before it's peeled, whatever. This is just, you'll thank yourself when you buy it, when it's already prepared for you. And then I just sliced it up in slivers really thin. I poured some of the brine that was from the jar in there for extra flavor. The reason I'm adding that last is I didn't want to toast the garlic or anything. I wanted it to be, you know, as natural and raw and pure as I could, because garlic is such a delicious flavor in this risotto. The next thing I want to do is add in my chopped mushrooms. So the mushrooms are going to absorb some of the liquid, but I'm going to be adding about a 1/4 cup of cream to it as well. And since the rice is just about done, this will all make it creamy and delicious and come together anyway. All right, next thing I want to add is my cream and my Parmesan cheese. I wouldn't add all the Parmesan yet. Add maybe half of it. See where the thickness is of your rice, because you don't want it to get so thick that you can throw it against the wall and it sticks. That would not be fun. And also, if you sense that if you see that you have enough and you only had to add half, then you can garnish with the rest of it at the very end. We're going to let this cook for about 2 or 3 more minutes and then add our spinach and we should be good to go. Alright guys, so we are into the final stages of our delicious risotto. You can see how beautiful and creamy this has turned out. Alright, I did switch to a spoon because I just kind of want to mix in this spinach. Now you're going to think I'm adding in a whole lot of spinach, and then once it cooks down, you're going to be like, oh, I see why. So this is going to be a 1/2 bag of spinach for 3 ounces. Does not look like a lot, huh? But once it's cooked down, it will be. This is going to take just a minute. Just work with it. Be patient. It'll wilt down. It'll get in there. You can see after about a minute of me just kind of folding this in, how it's already wilting down. All right. This is looking beautiful. You see how beautiful that is? That's what you want right there. All right, you guys. Well, dinner is ready. The risotto turned out beautifully, as you can see. Our salmon, it still feels like it wants to cook, but it is done and delicious. And you can hear, let's see if we can see it, that crispy skin. Try not to tip though, but you can see, you can hear it too. Hear that? That's what you want. Nice, crispy, beautiful skin. And then our roasted asparagus.